Moscow is ready to act as a mediator to achieve a peaceful resolution of the conflict in the Middle East. What risks to global security can the continuation of hostilities in this region represent? How can they affect the stability of energy markets in the world? Thank you. Do I understand correctly that by the conflict in the Middle East, you mean the situation around Iran in the Persian Gulf? Yes, of course. I want to comment immediately. Previously, when they said Middle East, they primarily meant the problem of Palestine, the problem of creating a Palestinian state in accordance with UN decisions, which have been openly sabotaged for more than 1 decade. And recently, they have openly stated that there will be no Palestinian state. Now, when the aggression of the United States and Israel against the Islamic Republic of Iran has begun, everyone talks about a crisis, a conflict in the Middle East. But what is meant is not Palestine at all. Palestine is successfully being forgotten. We believe that this will be a most serious blow to the reputation of the international community, above all the United Nations. Here it is necessary for everyone, and above all the countries of the region, the Arab countries, to realize their responsibility. We will be ready to actively support such an approach so that the UN is responsible for the decisions it has adopted. As for the situation around Iran, our position is well known. We have outlined it in several statements. We will continue to express assessments of what is happening. The most important thing is this unprovoked aggression, which could not remain without a reaction. If those who plan strikes on the Islamic Republic of Iran in the midst of negotiations, by the way, for the second time, as was the case in June of last year, if they expected that within a day or a few hours they would achieve the goal of completely subjugating the state, then probably they already understand now how mistaken they were, how deluded they were. Of course, Iran is defending itself. It is responding to the aggression with strikes against the military infrastructure of the countries that attacked it located in the region. And, to great regret, the states of the Union, the Cooperation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf, are also suffering. And we call for, first of all, of course, the cessation of hostilities and for both sides to sit down at the negotiating table, if trust in negotiations still remains. Well, secondly, as an urgent priority step, everything must be done so that all participants in this crisis situation cease actions that cause damage to civilian infrastructure and lead to casualties among the civilian population, both in the Arab countries of the Gulf and in the Islamic Republic of Iran. These are, in my view, absolutely urgent matters. And I hope that we, together with other sensible states, will try to promote such an approach in the international arena. As for the prospects of this conflict, it is difficult to say. Recently, U.S. President Trump said that Iran, I quote, is completely defeated. And on the same day, a representative of the Israel Defense Forces states, "We still have 1,000 targets ahead of us, and we will be working on these targets at least until Passover. That is, for at least another 3 weeks." Therefore, it is difficult to predict what consequences this crisis may have, how it may end, if we do not stop immediately now, come to our senses, and begin developing agreements that, this time, will not be thwarted by anyone. Guarantees are needed here. I perfectly understand that Iran needs them. Now everyone is talking about the Strait of Hormuz. Macron said that he called the president Pezeshkian, demanded to ensure the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. For some reason, no one cares about the freedom of navigation in the Mediterranean Sea, in the Baltic Sea, where cases of illegal seizure of tankers have become more frequent. Both in the Mediterranean Sea and in the Black Sea, Ukrainian terrorists attack tankers. One of them, the Arctic Medagas, is now almost ready to sink and is drifting in the Mediterranean Sea. Recently, a Greek tanker was attacked in the Black Sea. Infrastructure relating to the Turk Stream and Blue Stream gas pipelines is being attacked. Of course, all this is coupled with the crisis around the Strait of Hormuz. In the context of threats from the Ansar Allah movement to block the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, of course, those who, simultaneously with these events related to the reaction to the aggression, are engaged in terror against energy infrastructure, against tankers carrying hydrocarbons, through terrorist actions, probably want to attract attention to themselves. But subsequently, you see, I started with the situation directly around Iran, but the consequences are much broader. They are no longer regional at all. They have a global scope. I will emphasize once again, we, together with other like-minded parties, will advocate for the immediate cessation of hostilities and the search for a political settlement. We are ready, as President Putin has repeatedly said, to play a mediating role in this political process, if this role is requested. We believe that we have such capabilities. But when American colleagues say that their main goal is to take all the enriched uranium for themselves, 400 plus kilograms uranium of any enrichment level, and that this is what interests them, well then, of course, it is no longer about a readiness for negotiations, nor a readiness to use the good offices of the Russian Federation, as was done in 2015, when the agreement on the Iranian nuclear program was concluded and approved at the UN Security Council. It turns out that the United States simply wants to take this energy resource for themselves, just as they want to take for themselves practically all hydrocarbon resources, whether in Latin America, in the Caribbean Basin, in the Persian Gulf, or in other expanses of our vast planet.